Welcome to our Elder Affairs service here on WADK, and we kick off our first Elder Affairs program of the new year with a great discussion about an important topic with the State Director of AARP Rhode Island, Catherine Taylor, who joins us on the line. Catherine, always nice to talk to you.
You too, Bruce. Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year to you. I am fine, and I hope you are the same, and the new year is treating you well.
So far, so good.
Good. It's about a tie, right?
Right. 5 days in, all's well.
There we go. Well, this is a project that we're going to talk about that AARP has been involved in mightily and has really brought it to the forefront. It's known as ADU, and it's about finding housing for some folks who, would like to keep living where they're living and to be on their own and a whole bunch of other considerations. So let's talk ADU.
Right, that's right. Accessory Dwelling Units, which are, apartments that can be inside a main house, or they could be in a garage or a carriage house or a little freestanding house, just with a little extra dwelling that could be for one or two people. It could be for an older person who needs their own space, but, needs accessible place to live, no stairs and, wider doorways and things like that. It could be for a caregiver to live there. It could be, if you want to downsize but stay in your same neighborhood and you want to turn your big house over to your kids and grandkids. I mean, there are a lot of different ways that that ADUs are a great option for us to live as we grow older, or to accommodate our families and the people in our lives.
And it's an important project, one that AARP has really brought to the forefront and in some interesting ways. And you have a guest today who's really going to talk about some innovation where these accessory dwelling units, these ADUs, are concerned.
I do. We've had these conversations, we've realized a lot of people can't really picture an ADU or picture themselves in one. So in order to help with that and to help people visualize it, we teamed up with the Rhode Island School of Design on a project. So I'm super excited to introduce our guest and my friend, Elizabeth Debs, who is an interior design faculty member at the Rhode Island School of Design, or RISD as we like to call it, about a project that we worked on for the better part of last year that culminated in November, and a nice little part two coming up. So good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, Catherine. Happy New Year to you and to Bruce. Delighted to be here.
Same to you. Welcome.
Great. So we reached out to Elizabeth and her colleagues at RISD to see if they'd be interested in having their students have an ADU design competition, and so that we could have a bunch of really creative and interesting designs to look at and to show people and to sort of imagine the possibilities. So Elizabeth, I'd love to turn it over to you just to talk about kind of how the project came to be, and then we can talk about game time, so the weekend of, and how that all unfurled. It was just a wonderful project. I'm so excited about it.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Catherine. Well, we're always looking for opportunities to engage with the community, and AARP has just been a phenomenal partner, I must say. So our students are drawn from all over the world. We have a very, very international faculty and student body. They bring a wide range of expertise from different locales, and I would say in general, everyone has someone in their life that could benefit from, improved living conditions. So it was a very exciting project for all of us, really. We divided our 120 students and faculty into 10 teams, and that resulted in 10 quite different approaches to the project. I think is one of the great benefits of putting the firepower of these design students on an important community issue. So on the weekend of, it was a very quick turnaround. We assigned the project on the Thursday. The students worked in teams of 10, and then they submitted their work on the Monday. We had an in-person jury, and then we had online voting as well. Some of the teams emerged, slightly ahead of others, but as I said, each proposal had an element of merit or two that really could be applied to furthering good design for people that need it. Is there more that you'd like me to say, Catherine?
Yeah, so I was going to say that a few days beforehand, we had a lecture for the students before they were given the assignment, the secret assignment, where we had a consultant come in that AARP Rhode Island brought in to talk to them about universal design and what that means and how important it is. So that was a really exciting thing to be able to collaborate with you all on. And so then when the designs were revealed, Elizabeth, I'd be curious to know what some of your favorite features that some of the students devised or designed were.
Oh, absolutely. I think that all of them were very much impressed by and understanding the universal design concepts. And so certainly we saw that in every submission, which was great. Some of the strategies varied kind of between the interior design work and a more kind of urbanistic approach. So I'll go from big to small. One of the teams considered a typical suburban block and created a community of ADUs in the backyards of about 5 or 6 single-family homes, and that was kind of exciting. Another one created a prototype in which the core elements, like the kitchens and bathrooms, were sort of in the body of it, but there was an awful lot of opportunity to add and subtract. So one could have one person living in it with one addition, or one could have as many as 4 to 6 people living in it. So that was very exciting, I think. Most of them incorporated some green and sustainability features, but one really focused heavily on solar energy and resource reduction, relying on natural light and natural ventilation, water collection. So that was very exciting too. Many of them were really focused on reducing the costs of construction and these days the time of construction. So a lot looked to modular design and prefabricated elements and the idea of flexibility for the future. So if you have a module or a prototype, then you can add and subtract over the tenure of the household living in the space, which I think was one of the important criteria that AARP laid out in the beginning, is thinking that, it's not a static thing that you create once, but it's something that needs to evolve as the family needs change.
Right. You have a colleague on your faculty, right, who has an ADU that he's used it for all sorts of different purposes over the course of its lifetime. Isn't that right?
Absolutely, yes. I think, without giving too much detail, but he and his wife initially created it to help foster children, and then at some juncture it was rented to an individual who needed housing on a temporary basis. And then I think lastly, before they sold the property, it was used for his elderly relative. So it had numerous iterations in its lifetime, and it was, sufficiently adaptable to accommodate all the different types of needs.
Right, and that's the importance of universal design, which is much more than just accessible design. It means that anybody in any circumstance can comfortably use the space. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, ADA, American Disabilities Act, was wonderful in that it helped accommodate specific disabilities, but universal design is really quite an advancement on that, in that it accommodates a range of needs and that there's no specialty design, as it were, for a distinctive population, but it really is design that supports everybody's well-being.
So Bruce and everybody listening, Elizabeth and I have very exciting news about this project, which this happened over the first weekend in November. But we're bringing the designs to the State House on January 25th at a public event at 3 o'clock in the State House Library. All of the student designs, their models and their posters will be on display there. And we're going to have a speaking program, and the students will be on hand to describe their projects and answer questions. So we invite the public to come and join us. Again, that's January 25th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the State House Library, which is on the second floor. And if you'd like to come, and there'll be refreshments too. We want people to kind of linger and really take these wonderful designs in and start to think about, how these might fit into your plans or into your neighborhood. You can go to, as I always say, aarp.org/RI events to register. Again, it's free, and we would love to see your listeners there.
Well, that sounds great, and what an exciting opportunity. It'll be like a mini home show there at the State House. Everybody can get some ideas, bring your plans, and prepare to be inspired, as we say. I think that part of what you're doing, Elizabeth and Catherine, is opening our eyes to the possibilities. I mean, we have always, at least when I've heard you talk about these ADUs in the past, it goes beyond an in-law apartment, or we're going to do over the garage or something like that. They're very, very exciting. And the thing that appeals, or the thing I guess I wondered about, was the feasibility of building a separate dwelling on your own property. I mean, is that encouraged? Do you can you give us a reveal at all of any of these designs? Do they seem to take on that characteristic, or are they more extensions?
Well, RISD students being creative types.
Yes.
The brief was.
I'm expecting to see a treehouse, quite frankly.
Oh, you will not be disappointed. I assure you. I encourage you to come see them. But the brief required a freestanding dwelling, and nonetheless, we had many of those. We had some attached to the rear. We had some additions to the second story. We had some attached to the front. No one took over the garage, which was actually surprising.
Yeah.
But we did have a wide range of variations, which was really lovely to see.
Isn't that interesting? And were these students Rhode Islanders? Were they from a lot of different places, and did that reflect their designs? Can you tell us?
Oh, they are literally from all over. We have a large cohort from China at the moment, from
Really?
India. We have Turkish students, Middle Eastern students, European students. We do have some American students as well. But, it's a global institution. And so they're not local. They're learning the language of, suburban America, because that's what the example was. And I think they brought some of the insights from their own countries and upbringings to the work here. So they're extremely compassionate and sensitive towards the occupants, which I think is lovely.
Yeah.
And, not necessarily a Rhode Island lens by any means, but I think we really, really benefited from the range of different life experiences from the students.
Isn't that great? And that brings up another aspect to this that I didn't hear either of you speak about, and I haven't heard it discussed in the discussion of these accessory dwelling units. I mean, think about the influence of the culture of China, and separate it out for a minute. The culture of China starts out honoring the elders and revering the elders. So that has to figure into this design. And you mentioned, Elizabeth, that they were particularly sensitive to folks who were going to be dwelling in this. This really could lead to an entirely different point of view on those who are going to get older, and there's a lot of that going around.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, many of our students, are very aware of the needs of caring for their elderly relatives. And as you say, they do it with a great deal of reverence and care. And that I believe that really shows in their designs. The other thing is that there are a lot of examples elsewhere of co-housing, for instance, of elderly with students. Everybody's so, so many wonderful examples around the world, and really important to bring them to the work that we're doing here.
Wow, this is really exciting. This is going to be a tremendous opportunity. So, other than signing up and showing up at the State House, is there any way we can get a little bit of a glimpse as to what these students are working on?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
We are rushing towards the finish line to make the posters perfect for their display, and we're thinking of different ways to share them. We had talked about doing a website around that, but right now the focus is on getting them up physically in the library at the State House.
That's right. The 25th is the big reveal, so
Okay.
we won't have anything anybody can see before that. But if people can't make it on that day, I believe that we will have some photos and some video from the event up on our webpage, aarp.org/RIADUs, after the 25th, so people can be on the lookout there. But we'd really love to see everybody at the State House.
You bet. You bet. In the meantime, though, that's a great resource that you just mentioned, Catherine, aarp.org/RIADU or ADUs?
ADUs.
With an S. Okay.
So there's
Excellent.
information, about what they are and legislative activity and, again, some great videos and photos of what they can be. And we're just really excited right now to bring design in as a way for people to understand how ADUs might be a really good option for helping them to choose how they live as they age.
Yeah. Very, very exciting. And boy, what a great place that we are in to be able to call upon the Rhode Island School of Design to bring this about. That is really going to be something unique. And I have to believe, like so many other of the events and so many other of the projects that you've started at AARP Rhode Island here, Catherine, that the national AARP has to take notice of this.
Oh yes, and they've actually supported us every bit of the way. We've got some nice technical assistance and a consultant that really helped us shape this project together. And they're very thrilled with this culmination with this public event too. So I'm very, very grateful to my colleagues at the National Office of Livable Communities for their support of these great things on the ground.
Well, it is all just
for helping us to be a little creative.
For sure. How exciting. And so let's put the invitation out there once again. It's January 15th January 25th at the State House. And
that's right.
You're invited to come and see what is possible with the design of accessory dwelling units, ADU design at the State House. And Catherine and Elizabeth, give us the particulars one more time, and how can we sign up, find out more?
Absolutely. So 3 p.m. on January 25th, State House Library, which is on the second floor, and you can register. It's free and open to the public, but you do need to register at aarp.org/RI-events. And while you're there, you can check out all of our other free events. We have our online Healthy Living series. You can do cooking, Tai Chi, laughter yoga, and Everybody Dance. Those are monthly occurrences. We'd love to see everybody online being healthy in 2024 as well.
Yes, this is the time to get that plan and that program into action. And it is going to be a very, very exciting year. Wonderful. Well, we look forward to seeing and hearing much more. Elizabeth Debs, Rhode Island School of Design, thanks so much for being with us, and all the best to you and your students. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. We're delighted to be here, and we look forward to seeing you in person at the State House.
You bet. And Catherine Taylor, our AARP Rhode Island State Director, always a great discussion with you, and you take good care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Bruce. It was great to be on. And again, thanks to Elizabeth and the Rhode Island School of Design for an amazing partnership.